Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to another one of these crazy live shows. Today's is exceptionally fun because I've got some ridiculous amount of stuff set up. We're going to go switching between, I think, more cameras, more sources than we ever have on this show, which should be entertaining for sure. And we're going to be stepping out of this room just as soon as, make sure this is working. Hello, computer, wake up. And as soon as I make sure that you guys are actually there. So let's see here. Let me just give me a moment here. Reset this and check that out. Oh, look at that. No Wi-Fi. Ha, excellent. Do I have the right chat going on this side? My goodness. There we go. Royal Grom first. Look, you guys love that, don't you? Silly, hey, Joseph and chat. Stoked to see this live portrait. Me too. Let's, this is one of those, like, if you got fingers and toes, cross them all, because it's like a lot could go wrong today. But, what are you going to do? I'm just kind of glutton for punishment. Seriously. Just seriously. Like, I don't know why I do these things. Oh, yeah. Because I love it. That's why I do these things. So, let's see here. Everything appears to be running. This, by the way, is the first stream using the Pearl 2. We're not going to talk about the Pearl 2, but I am really interested, for those of you who are watching live, to let me know later how everything looks and sounds. Now, sound is going to be a little bit different because I'm on a wireless lab today. And actually, in fact, give me a levels check. Make sure that I want to make sure that from you guys that you're hearing me okay. It's not too loud, not too quiet, that it sounds good, because I can adjust that before we start the real show. But keep a really close eye on any artifacting, any breakups, any dropouts that are unusual. If you see something that you think, well, I've never seen that before, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Because we are using this Pearl 2 for the first time. If anything, the quality should be better because it's this $8,000 piece of hardware dedicated to encoding and streaming, but you never know, do you? So I'm gonna wait for you guys to give me a confirmation that the audio is sounding good and strong on your end, and then we're gonna actually start the show. Quality looks great, Martin is saying, fantastic. Novak, hello. Martin, looking forward to learning the tricks of the trade. I don't know if we have any tricks, but we try to make a trade out of it. Hello from Sacramento. Hello to Sacramento. Hello to Thailand. Awesome. Fantastic. Love that. Audio seems fine. Thank you, Martin, for confirming that. Excellent. All right. I think we're good. I think I've got everything. This is like a crazy show today. We're hoping, big hopes, that everything works the way it should. So I'm already recording there. So I'm going to need this. I'm going to stick that in my pocket so I don't leave it behind. And let's do this thing. Good morning and welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, the first live daily photography show on the YouTubes. I'm your host, PhotoJoseph, and if you're watching this recorded, be sure to check it out live, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, every weekday. At least that's the plan, and we usually get there, especially lately. It's been pretty good. So today we're doing a live portrait shoot. In just a moment, we're going to step out of here. And all the internet and switching gods willing, everything's going to work out. We have multiple sources. We've got, let me just show you a quick little preview. We've got, let's see, the remote camera there that's waiting for me to walk out that door. And then we've got the camera that I'll be shooting with that has currently got a crotch shot of my assistant. So let's go back to the main camera here. And then, of course, this camera here. And we're going to be able to switch to my computer and take a look at the pictures we shoot. So the plan is, this is a one-night setup. I'm going to take you out there, explain the setup. We're going to shoot a picture. We're going to do a little bit, even though it's already calibrated, I'll show you the steps of calibrating white balance and exposure, make sure that that is all spot on. Then we're going to take a picture with the Color Checker Passport dealie. Even though I'm going to tweak the colors out quite a bit, I always like to start with something that is totally accurate. Honestly, it's unnecessary for the kind of thing that I'm doing here, but it's just become part of my workflow. If I'm shooting in the studio, unless I completely forget, I fire off a shot with the Passport so that I have a totally neutral, honest, true baseline to begin with. So we're going to do that. And, I've got the toy, may as well use it. And then we're going to bring the pictures in here. We're going to do the calibration and do a little color tweaking. So, you guys ready for this? See a quick little shout out in the comments, see what else is going on. Everybody says sound is good. That's excellent. Good morning from sunny Florida. Good morning to sunny Florida. Stop rubbing your sun in my face. Okay, we're good. Let's do this thing. All right, make sure I got the right system here. Yeah, let's go. All right. So, hello everybody. We're back over here. This is Jason, by the way. Jason's the editor, and he is, ooh, this is making noise. Let's turn this off. And I've got the, let's see now, can I see the comments here? I can't. Okay, guys, I'm going to be away from the comments until I get back into that room. Unfortunately, the comments aren't showing up here. I don't know why. One of these days I'll figure this thing out. So, all right, here's the rig. Let me just set all this crap down. Here is the, this is a disaster of a studio. I know, I'm sorry. We're doing a one light setup. So the light that we have is right over here. This is a Profoto on an octabox. Nice, big, huge softbox. And you notice it's got the grid in here. Now the reason that I'm using the grid in here is when I'm shooting portraits of men, I like to have a bit more angular, bit harder light, if you will. More directional is probably the better word. So with an octabox or any kind of softbox, you get a really nice, soft light. Beautiful, beautiful light. But for portraits of men, sometimes a little bit too soft. So by putting the grid on there, it makes it a little bit more directional. So you get shadows, but they have a little bit softer fall off than, well, a lot softer fall off than it would if it was just a straight light, and nowhere near as soft of a fall off if you didn't have the grid. So you'll see what that looks like. It makes for a nice, nice touch to it. Now, the objective here of the one light is, well, simplicity, right? One single light is going to hit our subject on the side of the face, which is Ryan, who's going to be over here momentarily. The softbox will wrap around a little bit, and on our first shots, you'll see it's going to be a little bit dark on the side, and we're going to then add in a reflection panel just to bounce a little bit of light in. Not a whole lot. The background, if I was farther away from it, the background's white, as you can probably see there. If we're farther away from the backdrop, none of this light would hit it, and the background would just go to black. Far enough away to go to black. The closer you get, the more gray it's going to get. If we were right on top of it, then we get quite a bit of light in there. It wouldn't be pure white, right, because the single light has to expose our subject, and then it's going to fall off from there. But it would be gray. And we've got it set up in a position where we're going to get a little bit of light off to the side behind him, and the other side will not have much light on it. So we're basically going to have a gradient behind our subject. So that's really nice. So basically, you've got your subject, a light crossing this way, so some of the light spills here, less spills here, and we have a bit of a gradient in the background. Should look really nice. Let's see here. Shooting with the GH4 today, and the only reason that I'm shooting with this, normally if I was doing portraits, I would use either the GX8 or the GX85. The reason I'm using this today is because this syncs up with the switching system more easily. One of the disadvantages, though, of shooting with this, but there's nothing I can do about it, is because I'm connected to the video out, and momentarily we're going to be looking through the camera here, you're going to see everything in 16:9 because that's what the video is. It's also going to shoot the picture in 16:9. Now, on newer Lumix cameras, and I think this happens on a lot of mirrorless cameras, but on the newer Lumix cameras, if you shoot an image in RAW and it's cropped 16:9 because of the camera setting or whatever, the RAW file is actually the full file. And when you go into the crop settings, and there's the whole thing. You'll see it initially cropped, but then you see the whole thing. Unfortunately, that's not happening off of this camera, but again, this is a pretty old camera by this stage. So the portraits we're going to shoot today are going to be 16:9, which is totally weird. You would never do that, but it's what we got. It's part of the switching thing. Okay, so I think we're about ready to go. Ryan, you got a good shot there? All right, come on over here and step in. Ladies and gentlemen, momentarily he'll be here. He's checking focus here. Here we go. Come on over. Here we go. For those of you who haven't met him yet, that's Ryan. Say hi. Hi there. That's Ryan. And go ahead and get into your position. So the first thing that we want to do is set white balance and then set exposure. Make sure that they're all nice and solid. So go ahead and hold this guy up. I'm going to grab my iPad so I can switch. And let's see if this is going to work. Let's see here. We're going to do this. Point that direction. You don't have to hold it in front of your face quite yet. Sorry. How was I supposed to know? I couldn't see. Let's see here. We go to this camera. Let's make sure that it has switched to that camera. Yes, it has. Excellent. So there's the rig that you were just looking at. Here's selfie view, and there's Ryan. Now the white balance, what you're going to see here, actually it looks pretty good. Yeah, this looks fine here. Right. So here's what we're doing. Go ahead and hold up the card. I want to go in here and do white balance first. So I go into white balance mode, and I go to one of my custom modes here. We'll just set a new one here. I push the up button to say select white balance, and then I hit set, and it fires off a shot, and it adjusts the white balance. So now what I've just done is I have calibrated the white balance of the camera to this exact setup. So whether this was a single strobe as it is here, or a multitude of strobes, or a mix of ambient light and strobes, or whatever it is, this is now balanced perfectly to this exact environment. So that is awesome. We got perfect white balance setting there. Right, you could set your camera to 5600 because you know the light is 5600, but you know what? There's other reflections, there's other things that are affecting the color balance happening in the room, so this way we've got it spot on perfect. Okay, so that was set. Next we're going to do exposure. So let's go ahead and pull that thing up again. Let me switch back to the camera here, and fire off another shot here. Hello, there we go. Okay, and we can see there on the LCD that you've got a very nice even exposure. I think you can see the histogram on your screen. Hopefully you can. And this is nicely balanced out. So that's good. So we're happy with that. We are good with the exposure now. Obviously, if it was under overexposed, you could adjust the aperture, adjust the light output, whatever you need. But you can make the adjustments. OK, so now I'm going to shoot. Now, I am going to shoot in portrait mode, which unfortunately means you're going to have to do this. Trying to knock things over. You're going to have to do this to watch this part of the video. But don't worry, I'm sending a massage therapist to your house later to work out the crick in your neck. All right, let's go back to it and get rid of the. Go ahead and get rid of that guy. Get rid of that, and let's get some shots. And oh, let's get there we go. Focus back on. And so the shadow that you're seeing in the scene now is just from my ambient light, but that is okay. That's going to be overblown by the studio strobe. Now that's looking really good. I like that picture. It's a little on the dark side on his face, and that's what I was saying, that we're going to fill in a little bit of that. So now I'm just going to bring in my reflector here, and we're just going to bring this guy into place and try not to knock him over. Try not to hit him or you or anything else. Bring a little bit here. That should work out nicely. We'll see what that looks like. Let's go back to the shoot camera and try to get the right camera up. There we go. And get a little bit of background going there. Nice. Let's fill that in nice. And we get one more. Oop, flash didn't fire. Let's try that again. Beautiful. Okay. I'm digging it. I like it. I'm happy. I hope you're happy. Because this is what we're going to do. We're going to now take this picture into the studio. We'll see what kind of questions you might have thrown up or comments you might have thrown up while we were running around. And off we go. All right, let's do this thing. So I need this, and I need this, and I can stay here. Try not to trip over my cables. All right, how's that working out so far, everybody? Let's see. Now I can catch up with the. Oh, I forgot to shoot the color. We're gonna go back out there and shoot the color passport. Ryan, you forgot to let me shoot. You didn't. I'm blaming somebody else. We forgot to shoot the color passport. I forgot to shoot the color passport. Okay, spin that camera around. Yep. See, live production. What are you gonna do? Okay, let's put this back here. We're back on that view. Now I've just changed the exposure on my camera because I'm clever like that. Why don't you go ahead and get your self set up, and then come back in here. I need you to hold the thing. And not that, this. There you go. Just stand where you were before. You don't have to be posing or anything, just point that right at me. Okay, and so you guys can see this. I'm just going to, come on. There we go. Okay, thank you. Then we got that. Now, we'll go back in and try this again. Okay, take the card out. And let's go. All right, come with me. Let's try this again. All right, now we're back. How's this working out so far? Let's see here. Comments flying through. Let's get the right mouse. What have we got here? Oh, all kinds of stuff coming by. Look good. Let me just scroll through these real quick and see what's happening. Good Lord. A lot of comments came through. Okay, me too. I use the passport. It's awesome. Agreed. Finally not late. Gerba, not you, me. Good. Yeah, I'm on time. Greetings from the Philippines. Excellent. Interesting, the live audio is 100 to 300 milliseconds off. Yes, the live audio will be off when I'm out there because I'm on a camera with an HDMI out. But once I'm back in here, we should be back in sync. So yeah, that's why I had to invest in the Blackmagic camera in here, which if I was going to go super crazy, I'd have Blackmagic cameras all over the place, which, you know, as this thing grows, we'll eventually do. Okay, who is the pretty lady in the back? You talking about my mannequin? That's Betty. Betty is my stand-in when I need someone to pose while I'm setting up lighting. Martin, that is not my girlfriend. My wife would not be happy about that. Cute model. Okay, let's see here. Sounds good. Yep, sounds good, sounds good. And we're just talking about the sound. Sorry about the audio sync. I forgot to tell you about that. Okay, and where are we? Interesting. Lots of comments about the sound. Sorry, guys. And goodness gracious, here we go. All right, Sully, nice to talk to Joseph while he's shooting, to have him answer questions, maybe next live photo shoot. Did he say what strobe it was? Yes, it was a Profoto. It is an old monoblock. That's a 600 watt second. I don't remember the model number. I can look it up if you really want to know, but you probably can't buy it again anymore anyway. It's pretty old. And it's 600, and it's turned pretty much all the way down. Oh, look at that. Herb has got it. Profoto 600 watt. Excellent. Passport, I know. See, I always forget about it, but I went back and I got it. And the lens, oh, I didn't even tell you, the lens is the Nocticron. So, and it was nowhere near wide open. I think I was shooting it at 5, 6, or 7, 8, something around there. But that was the Nocticron. I love that lens. Such a nice lens. And Simban says, thanks for this. Exactly the stuff I've been reading up on for the past couple of days. It's great to see it from a Micro Four Thirds perspective. From Jamaica. Awesome. All right, do I always shoot RAW, Joel? Yes. And let me go ahead and pop this in here and get this import started. Yes, I do always shoot RAW. I usually shoot RAW plus JPEG. I actually don't know what the camera's set to now, but it doesn't matter. I don't care about the JPEG here. But I usually shoot both, and I use the JPEG for sharing. So if I'm traveling or something, I'll shoot RAW plus JPEG. I want the RAW because, you know, the RAW is the master. You want the RAW. It's like your negative. You would never throw away your negative. But I shoot RAW plus JPEG so that I have the JPEG so that I have a look that I've developed in camera, which is saved into a JPEG that I can Wi-Fi over to my phone and then put on Instagram or whatever. I'm like that. Okay, so let's switch over to the Mac real quick. Import, and we're just going to bring in the last couple of pictures here. So let's uncheck all of these. We obviously need the passport picture, and we'll just grab a couple of these portrait ones just to make sure we've got some good pictures. And nothing fancy on the import, just import, and in we go. Okay, so now, let's see, I'll throw that up in the corner here. The first thing we're going to do is the color checker passport. So, well, let's just take a quick look at the pictures. You can see the basics of what we got here. Let's make that nice and big. So nice, simple, clean photo. So let's see, I think that's before I moved the reflector in, and there's with the reflector, so you can see a little bit of a difference in the side of his face there. And I think I'll use that shot there. Let's see, zoom in tight. Yep, nice and sharp, perfect, beautiful, love it. Okay, so let's zoom back out of there and get out of full screen. And I'm going to use this guy to do my profile. And from the file menu, once you have the software installed, you have to install it. You go to the export menu of all odd places, and you choose Export Color Checker Passport. And it says make a profile, and so we'll just call that Ryan, hit save. And you see up here in the corner it says processing profile, so we'll just let that churn away and do its thing. And that can take a minute or so. It's not instant. And then once it processes the profile, and it'll tell you this, you have to reboot, relaunch Lightroom for it to recognize the profile. I guess if you're doing this in Camera Raw, you don't have to. I don't know why Camera Raw loads the profiles in real time and Lightroom only does it on startup, but it does. So while we're waiting for this, let's see what else is going on here in the comments. And let's see, we talked about the RAW. I'm a new subscriber and can't keep my eyes off your videos. Why? Thank you, Skate Team. I love what we do. Thank you. Saludos desde España. Mucho gusto. And Burns Tech says, before I forget, I'm watching from Moscow, Pennsylvania. I keep forgetting to mention that. Moscow, Pennsylvania. I saw Moscow, I got all excited. I mean, I'm sure Moscow, Pennsylvania is super cool. Never been, sorry. And let's see here, processing profile, still going. So you see it takes a few minutes to do. But again, what this does, oh, no, it is done. Color profile has been generated successfully. So you can see here, it's, well, we'll just zoom into there. See, it says must be restarted. So we click OK, and I'm just going to quit and relaunch Lightroom. Look at my fabulous desktop. So one of the, well, the reason that you do this is to get totally accurate color. And I'm going to show this to you when I apply the profile to the color checker passport photo, and you'll see the colors shift. Now, Ryan is wearing a black shirt. We're in a monochromatic background, so really we're not going to see any color shift in this picture probably at all. If he was wearing a colored shirt, nice shirt selection today, Ryan. If he was wearing a colored shirt, we would see that. He's looking at me like, what? You didn't tell me. That's true, I didn't. Then you would, you'd see it more. But let's take a look at it here. So here's the picture of the passport. If I go to the develop module, and scroll down to the bottom over here. On the right, you see it says color calibration. So profile is Adobe standard. If I select on that, there's the one that I just created, Ryan. So when I select it, watch the colors primarily in here, and usually from my experience, it's the blues and purples that we're going to see the biggest shift on. So I select it, and there it is. Now, watch again. I'm going to go back and forth a few times. So watch the blues, the reds, quite a shift in there. And it's not the kind of thing where it's, oh my God, it's so critical. You know, you could never use the picture without doing this or anything like that. God, no, not at all. But it's nice to have that total accuracy. In fact, I did a video. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to link to this. I don't know if I'll be able to link it up here or not. So if you're watching this after and you see a thing there, then it worked. If you don't see a thing there, then scroll down. I did a video on the color checker passport on my photoapps.expert website, and the sample was a very known color. It was a Tony the Tiger thing. It was this like store opening day thing that I got hired to shoot. And there was a Tony the Tiger who has that, there's a color. There is no question what Tony the Tiger color is. And when you see the shift, like you look at the picture on screen, you go, yeah, it looks fine. And then you see the shift and you go, oh, okay, now that's the right color. And then you switch back, you go, oh yeah, it's totally wrong. You switch back and it's the right one. So it's kind of cool to see how that works. Okay, quick scroll through the comments here again as well. Bernstein is saying, not really a boring small town talking about Moscow. Oh well, what you gonna do? Let's see here. Passport is sick. It always gives you amazingly perfect color until it dies. They die? Oh, you mean like leave it out in the sun kind of a die? Because I haven't done that. I'm good with mine. You got to keep it closed all the time. About 2 years after you buy it, the chips fade. Yeah, that's why they have you write the dating on it. I guess it depends how much you use it, obviously, too, and make sure you keep it out of the sun and that sort of thing. Okay, but definitely worth it. All right, how much are these? The Color Checker Passport is, I think, $85. I've already got the links to that in the notes below, so you can check that out. You can buy larger kits, and I saw it up to $250. I think it comes with the screen calibrator and all kinds of other stuff. But to do what I'm doing here, it was $85 on B&H, and I just looked at that just a few minutes ago. Okay, and one more. Simban is saying, I use Capture One, and I found the profile they have for the GX8 gives a greenish cast to darker skin. Interesting. I've had to use the GH4 profile to make it more natural. Might get a Passport. Yeah, Passport would fix that up, I would think. I've never used the Passport within Capture One Pro, so I have no idea how the workflow is, but I'm sure it works well. Okay, and they're saying it works well for video. There actually is a dedicated one for video. I think I have it here. I've got, okay, so here's the big one for video, which, oh yeah, there's the little one. So this is the big one for video. Doing video with a small one seems to be quite a bit of a pain. So there's the big one for video, and then there is the little one for video as well. There you go, there's the little one for video. And you get your black, gray, white things on here as well. The problem with these is how small they are. And you're gonna see, I'm gonna do, I think I'll do this tomorrow. It's either tomorrow or Thursday. I'm gonna do a video about calibrating this camera, which I finally kind of got. I'm still not super happy with it, but and something that I had Ryan build for me so that I could do the calibration a little bit easier. Basically a monster size one of these. We'll look at that tomorrow. We're getting way off topic here. Let's get back into this. Okay, so back to the computer. And so I've got that color profile. Now that I've applied it to this picture, let's double check it. Yep, profile is set to Ryan. You see that right there, it says Ryan. I'm gonna select all of these pictures, make sure that this one is the primary selection, and then hit sync. And we're going to, we don't need to do the tones. What we've done is the process and the calibration. And so what's really the calibration? We hit synchronize, and now all of the other pictures that I've shot will have that Ryan preset on it, or color calibration. So we're gonna use this one. Let's see here, let's take a look at the difference. Let me zoom, well, no, I should probably zoom out, and let's see if there is a color difference. Yeah, we're not seeing anything here, but again, it's because he's wearing all monochromatic colors. So anyway, you would see a bit of a difference there if he was wearing a colored shirt, especially if it was a blue shirt. Anyway, so there's that. So now let's go into the develop module. And as I had said in the trailer for this thing, all I'm going to do is really apply a preset using one of the VSCO presets. So if we scroll through here on the right, Navigator would catch up with itself. Okay, come on, Navigator. Do me justice here. Why are you not showing the right picture? Go Lightroom. Okay, develop. Look, this is showing the wrong picture. Why is it doing that? Come on, Lightroom. Update. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, let's see what happens if I apply a preset. Nope, still not updating. Let's go to a different mode, and then back again. If anybody knows a trick to force this thing to update, I would love to hear it, because this happens to me all the time. So annoying. All right, we're just going to quit and relaunch that, because that is just annoying. And the reason that I want that isn't to navigate, is because that's where I'm going to see the preview of the presets as I roll over them, so I don't have to apply every single preset. Oh, there, now we've got it up. Yes, okay, now it's working. So let's go back to this. So I'm using one of these VSCO presets. This is a film set. This might have even been a free set. I honestly don't remember. It's called VSCO Film 00, and this set isn't available to buy, so I think it's kind of a mishmash and a little bit of a free sample. But as I roll over these, you get a small thumbnail preview up there of what it's going to look like. And the presets that I tend to go towards are these cool ones here. So I'm going to go and load this cool preset here, and it's quite dark. So let's bring the exposure up a bit on there. And that's about it. that's kind of it. Now, it's a little hot on the highlights. Let me bring his highlights down just a little bit on his face there. Probably, you know, I think what happens is I expose this just a little bit too dark on the sides, so I am going to throw let's get the exposure where I want it there, throw a tiny little mask over his face. So let's just grab a circular mask here and do that over his face there, make that a little bit bigger. I don't know what god-awful underexposure is doing there, but we're just going to take the highlights down a little bit more. There you go. That's what I want. And that's it. That is all there is to it. So this is one of those presets can be, and see the 16:9, there's, unfortunately I can't crop away from that. Using presets can be hugely, fantastically awesome. It really makes things easy to do. And it's not to say that, oh, you apply a preset and you should be done with it, but if you find a look that you like, one of the reasons I always like to start with presets is some people have come up with some really crazy things that they've done with presets, and you may not even realize that it's possible to do that. But you flip through presets, you find something that you like, and use that as a starting point, as I did here. For the most part, I liked it, changed the exposure a little bit. It was a little bit too dark, added the burning basically onto his face, and away we go, and that's it. And I'm happy with it. I mean, I like this portrait. I don't know, Ryan, what do you think? Do you like the picture of you?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
He's okay with it. All right, well, that's good. The client's happy. That's all that really matters. All right, let me see here. Let me scroll through the comments here again. All right, where are we? Sully says, yeah, you touch the color chips. The oil on your hands will mess up the colors. Oh, that's good to know. Don't touch the color chips. Very, very good to know. The photo is awesome. Why, thank you, Sully. Look at the fall off on the right side of his face. Yeah, beautiful fall off, right? And that is the, let's see here. Let me make this full here. There we go. So you can see that up there nice and big. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Oops, wrong button. Here we go. The fall off on his face is very nice. Come on. But honestly, my whole everything, my trackpads, everywhere are all going insane at the same time. If I didn't have the grid on there, that fall off would be much softer, and so you'd have a much gentler light, which would be a very nice feminine light. If you're photographing a beautiful girl, you might want to have that softer light around them, really, really nice. But with the man, you know, the man's face, you tend to want a little bit more chiseled look to it. But if I didn't have the softbox in there, just the hard light, then you'd have a really hard shadow. That wouldn't be good. So it's a really nice balance in there, and you get that really nice fall off, but it's a fast fall off, and we're still filling in the shadows a little bit with that balance. So I really like it. So thank you, Sully. I'm glad that you like that. Good evening from the Netherlands. Interested to hear how the color passport is used, and great that software can process the procedure. I think I understand that. We already did the color passport part, so you're gonna have to go back and watch it again later. What is that, Joseph, about a 2 stops difference between the foreground and the left and the right side of his face? It was probably more than that. That's probably a good 3 stops. That's a big difference in there. And I kind of overexposed his face a little bit too much contrast in there, but we fixed that in post, nice and easy. Zoom out, poor Ryan. Well, he's looking good there. Look at that. That's like a beautiful, look at him sitting there looking all regal. Let's see here. Not updating the navigator, Lightroom versus phase 1. I'm not using phase anywhere here, so I'm not sure. I have eyeshadow palette that looks very similar to these. Nice, Jess. Maybe get a PC. Oh, Novak, that hurts. That hurts. Must be a Mac thing. Look at you PC guys giving me a grief out there. Burns Tech says, ooh, question for anyone. I'm looking for a monitor calibration tool. Oh, okay. Well, if anybody knows a good monitor calibration tool, hit the Burns Tech up there. I don't. And let me tell you why I don't calibrate my monitors. I used to. And then I stopped because if you're printing at home, or in the studio, whatever, you're printing, then it's very, very valid to have calibration across your screen to your printer. So that what you see on screen is what you get out of your printer. No question about it. I'm not printing myself, ever. The only printer I have is a laser printer, black and white, for text. I always send my prints out to get printed. And because other print shops can afford much bigger printers than I can, right? These print shops are phenomenal at getting the color just right. It's very, very rare that the color doesn't look the way that I want it to. So when it comes to printing, I don't worry about color profiling the screen. I do worry about making sure that my blacks are black, my whites are white, looking at the histogram, looking at the RGB readouts, making sure that if it's supposed to be a neutral color, that it's 15, 15, 15, that is truly neutral. So I make sure that it's technically accurate. I don't care what I see on screen, I make sure that it's technically accurate. What I see on screen is what's important for sharing online. And at this point, I don't want to have a calibrated screen, because if I have a calibrated screen, mine looks nothing like what everybody else's looks like. So I want to look at a screen that looks as neutral out of the box as it can, because that's what everybody else is looking at. So there's my logic behind it. I'm sure it's a flawed logic, but that's the way I do things. Okay. Let's see here. Other comments coming in. How did it generate a color profile? That was something we did earlier, Z Nelson, so you're going to have to scroll back or watch the video on the replay later. We did the color profile using the plugin from Xrite. It's called the Xrite Color Checker Passport. So they have a plugin that runs through and processes a picture of the profile thing, which is somewhere in here. Apparently not. All right. Let's see here. What else is on here? Men more chiseled use a grid, women use a softbox. Good to know, Sully. Yep, it's just the way I like to do things. You know, there's no rules here. What lens did I use again? That was the Nocticron, so the 42.5 millimeter f1.2 lens. Although I was closed down to 5.6. Actually, let's see. What was I setting at? Let's see. This was shot at f7, 7.1. So here, if I zoom into that, you can see that up there. There was the settings for this camera. 1/160th of a second. It's the, well, it calls it here 43 millimeter lens. It's the 42.5. And yeah, that's how that was set. It's funny, it says flash did not fire because it was the internal flash that didn't fire. Obviously, the external flash fired. Okay. Anything else in here? That's it. Okay, that is going to be it. So, thanks for tuning. Oops, wrong one. Get the right thing up. There we go. So, thanks for tuning in again. That was fun. Hopefully, you enjoyed that little live craziness on there. It worked. Other than forgetting to do the passport and having to go back and do that. But hey, it's live. That's what happens. Everything worked out well. Tomorrow, I am going to talk about this guy, which I finally got working, which I showed you before, first look. I have to send it back, and so that's kind of why I'm rushing into it. I'm not super happy with the way that I've got this camera to look yet, and I don't know that I'm going to get it any better by calibrating with this, but I think now it's just a case of finding a look that I like. I think, and I'll have to look at the recording here because this is the first show since I recalibrated yesterday, I think the blacks are a little bit crunchy. And this camera, the Blackmagic Studio camera, has a lot of great things about it, but it is definitely, you do not get the same image quality off of this that you get off of something like the GH4. So I've been trying to color match the GH4, and I've gotten really, really close, but I still feel like my blacks are a little bit too crunchy, but if I lift them up, then they get muddy. So I don't really like the way this camera handles the blacks, but there you go. But I'm going to show you how I did my calibration with this, with my overgrown, oversized black and white board, and we'll take a look at that tomorrow. Okay? I think that's it. Everything, yep, that's all good. So, you know the routine. Thumbs up it, thumbs down if it totally sucked, but tell me why and be nice about it. Subscribe if you haven't done that already and all that good stuff. You know the routine. Thanks a bunch, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.